Thank you so much for everything you have done for me.
And I will never forget this. No problem, David.
Have you ever wondered how a single moment of misunderstanding could shake the foundation of trust in a relationship? This story explores what happens when we jump to conclusions without seeking the truth first. Sometimes what we see is not the complete picture. Sit back and discover how one woman's discovery led to a choice that nearly changed everything. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the city streets as Dr. Maya walked toward the local grocery store. She held a cloth shopping bag in one hand, mentally reviewing her list. Tomatoes, onions, rice, and milk. Simple things for a simple evening meal. The air was warm but pleasant. People walked past her on the sidewalk, some talking on phones, others lost in their own thoughts. Maya enjoyed these quiet moments away from the hospital where she worked as a pediatrician. As she approached the intersection near the market, something caught her eye across the street. A man stood beside a parked car, and beside him was a woman in a beige suit. They were talking, their heads close together. Maya slowed her steps. The man looked familiar. Very familiar. Her heart began to beat faster. She moved closer to the edge of the sidewalk, her eyes fixed on the scene. The man turned slightly, and Maya's breath caught in her throat. It was David, her husband. But David had told her this morning that he was traveling to another city for a medical conference. He had kissed her forehead before leaving, his suitcase already packed and waiting by the door. "I'll be back in 3 days," he had said with a smile. So why was he here? And who was this woman? Maya watched, unable to move, as David reached out and pulled the woman into a warm embrace. The woman laughed, her hand resting briefly on his shoulder. They stood there for several seconds before stepping apart. Maya's shopping bag slipped from her fingers and fell to the ground. She did not notice. The world around her seemed to blur. Car horns sounded distant, the chatter of people faded away. All she could see was her husband hugging another woman on a street corner when he should have been hours away. What would you do if you saw your partner in a situation like this? Would you confront them immediately or wait to gather your thoughts? Share your opinion in the comments. Maya bent down slowly and picked up her shopping bag. Her hands were shaking. She looked across the street again, but David and the woman were getting into separate cars now. Within moments, both vehicles drove away in different directions. She stood there on the sidewalk, people passing around her like water flowing around a stone. Her mind raced with questions. Who was that woman? How long had this been happening? Was everything in their marriage a lie? When I imagined Maya standing there and watching her husband hug someone else, what I felt was pure confusion. Not rage, not clarity, just that sudden shock where your heart reacts before your brain does. In moments like this, it's hard to slow down and ask questions. She turned and walked back toward their apartment, her steps automatic, her mind elsewhere. The walk home took 20 minutes, but it felt like hours. Every step brought another memory, another question, another doubt. She remembered the past month. David had been going out more frequently. "Just some extra shifts at the hospital," he had explained. "We have a shortage of doctors right now." Maya had believed him without question. She had taken on more responsibilities at home, managing the cooking, cleaning, and bill payments while he was supposedly working. She had been happy to do it. After all, marriage was about supporting each other, wasn't it? When David was busy, she stepped up. When she was overwhelmed, he did the same. That was their rhythm, their balance. Or so she had thought. Maya reached their apartment building and climbed the stairs slowly. Each step felt heavier than the last. By the time she reached their front door, tears were streaming down her face. She unlocked the door and stepped inside. The apartment was quiet and neat, exactly as she had left it that morning. The breakfast dishes were washed and put away. The floor was swept. Fresh flowers sat in a vase on the dining table, flowers David had brought home just 2 days ago. "I saw these and thought of you," he had said, placing them gently in her hands. Had that been a lie too? Maya walked to their bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed. She looked around the room at the framed photos on the walls. Their wedding day, a vacation to the mountains, a birthday celebration. All those smiling faces seemed to mock her now. How do you think past memories change when trust is broken? Do happy moments lose their meaning, or do they become more precious? Let us know your thoughts. Maya wiped her eyes and leaned back against the headboard. Despite her pain, her mind drifted to the beginning, to the days when everything was simple and clear. She had met David 6 years ago at City General Hospital. She was a young pediatrician, fresh and eager. He was an orthopedic surgeon, confident and kind. Their departments were on different floors, but they often crossed paths in the cafeteria or during hospital-wide meetings. The first time they really spoke was during a charity medical camp the hospital organized for underprivileged children. Maya was checking a child's fever when David walked over with a small teddy bear. "For the little one," he had said, handing it to the girl, "to keep her company while she gets better." The child's face had lit up, and so had Maya's heart. After that day, they found reasons to talk more often. Coffee breaks turned into lunch meetings. Lunch meetings turned into evening walks. Evening walks turned into long phone calls that stretched past midnight. Their relationship grew naturally, built on shared values and mutual respect. Both were dedicated to their work. Both believed in giving back to the community. Both wanted a partnership based on honesty and understanding. When David proposed, he did not choose a fancy restaurant or a dramatic setting. He proposed in the hospital garden during their lunch break, with a simple ring and heartfelt words. "I want to build a life with you," he had said, "a life where we support each other's dreams and face challenges together. Will you marry me?" Maya had said yes without hesitation. Their wedding was small and meaningful, attended by close family and friends. They had been so sure of each other then, so confident in their choice. And now Maya sat alone in their bedroom, wondering if she had been blind all along. Maya stood up and walked to David's closet. She was not sure what she was looking for, but her hands moved almost on their own, searching through pockets and drawers. In the inside pocket of one of his jackets, she found a folded piece of paper. She pulled it out and unfolded it carefully. It was a handwritten note with an address and a time, 3 p.m., Rosewood Avenue. Today's date was written at the top. Rosewood Avenue, that was near where she had seen David and the woman. Maya's hands trembled as she folded the paper again and placed it on the bed. This was the moment that hit me the most as a creator. Once Maya found the note, it stopped feeling like a misunderstanding and started feeling real to her. I could feel how every small detail was now feeding the same fear, even though she still didn't know the full truth. She thought back over the past month more carefully now. David had been leaving the house earlier and returning later. He had been taking more phone calls in the other room. He had seemed distracted during conversations, his mind clearly elsewhere. Maya had noticed these things, but she had explained them away. He was tired. He was stressed. Work was demanding. She had given him the benefit of the doubt because that is what you do when you trust someone. But what if her trust had been misplaced? Do you think it's better to trust completely and risk being hurt, or to always maintain some level of suspicion? This is a question many people struggle with in relationships. Maya sat down at the small desk in the corner of their bedroom and opened her laptop. Her fingers moved across the keyboard mechanically as she searched for information on divorce procedures. The words on the screen felt surreal. Grounds for divorce, division of assets, legal representation. These were terms she never imagined would apply to her own life. She spent 2 hours reading through legal websites and downloading forms. She filled out the papers carefully, her handwriting neat despite her shaking hands. Name, age, occupation, date of marriage, grounds for separation. When she reached the section asking for reasons, she paused. What should she write? Infidelity? Breach of trust? Loss of faith? In the end, she simply wrote, irreconcilable differences. Maya printed the papers and placed them in a folder. Then she pulled out her suitcase from under the bed and began to pack. She moved through the room methodically, folding her clothes and placing them in the suitcase. Her work uniforms, her casual clothes, her books, her toiletries. She packed efficiently, like a doctor preparing for a surgery, each movement precise and controlled. But inside, her heart was breaking. As she packed, she thought about where she would go. Her parents lived in another state, and she did not want to burden them with this news yet. She had a close friend, Dr. Lee, who worked at the same hospital. Lee had a spare room and had always told Maya she was welcome any time. Yes, she would go there for now, just until she figured out her next steps. By the time evening arrived, Maya's suitcase was packed and sitting by the bedroom door. The divorce papers were in the folder on the bed. She had also printed out the photo she had taken on her phone earlier, the photo of David hugging the woman. She sat on the edge of the bed and waited. David would be home soon. He always returned around 7 p.m. when he was not on night shift. Maya checked her watch. 6:45 p.m., 15 minutes to go. The sound of keys turning in the front door lock made Maya's heart jump. She heard the door open, then close. Footsteps moved through the living room. "Maya, I'm home," David's voice called out, cheerful and warm. Maya stood up slowly. She picked up the folder containing the divorce papers and the photo. She walked out of the bedroom and into the living room. David was setting his bag down on the sofa. He looked up when he heard her footsteps and smiled. "Hey, how was your day? I thought you'd be making dinner by now." Then he noticed her expression. His smile faded. "Maya, what's wrong? Are you okay?" Maya held up the folder. "I need to talk to you." David's eyebrows drew together in concern. He stepped toward her. "Of course. What's going on?" "I saw you today," Maya said, her voice steady but cold. "At the intersection near the grocery store. You were supposed to be in another city, but you were here, with another woman." David's face went pale. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. "Maya, Don't," she interrupted. "I saw you hug her. I saw you smile at her. I saw everything." David shook his head quickly. "Maya, please, it's not what you think. I can explain." "Can you?" Maya opened the folder and pulled out the photo. She held it up so he could see it clearly. "Then explain this." David stared at the photo, his expression shocked. He looked from the image to Maya's face and back again. "You took a picture?" "Yes, I did," Maya said. "Because I needed proof. I needed something concrete before I made my decision." "What decision?" David's voice was tight now, worried. Maya pulled out the divorce papers and held them out toward him. "This decision. My sweet family, if you enjoy these stories and would like to watch more African tales, I've started a second channel where I share new stories regularly. You'll find the link in the description. The channel is called African Roots by Rabia. I'd love to have you there as well. Thank you for always supporting me. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to confront someone about a betrayal? How did you approach it? What would you have done differently? David's eyes widened as he saw the papers. Divorce? Maya, no, please, you don't understand. I understand perfectly, Maya said, her voice breaking slightly despite her efforts to stay calm. I understand that you lied to me. I understand that you've been sneaking around for who knows how long. I understand that I can't trust you anymore. That's not true. David stepped forward, reaching for her hands, but Maya stepped back. Don't touch me, she said quietly. David's arms dropped to his sides. He looked devastated. Maya, please listen to me. That woman, she's not what you think. I wasn't cheating on you. I would never do that. Then who is she? Maya demanded. And why did you lie about going to another city? David ran his hand through his hair, clearly distressed. I didn't go to the conference. I lied about that, yes, but not for the reason you think. Then what reason? Maya's eyes filled with tears. What possible reason could you have for lying to me and meeting another woman in secret? David hesitated. He looked torn, as if he was debating something internally. Finally, he said, I can't tell you yet. Maya felt something inside her break completely. You can't tell me? After everything, you still want to keep secrets? It's not a secret like that, David said desperately. It's complicated. I need you to trust me just a little bit longer. Maya laughed, but there was no humor in it. Trust you? David, I gave you my complete trust, and look where that got me. I'm done with blind faith. She raised her hand, and before she could think about it, slapped him across the face. The sound echoed in the quiet room. David stood still, his hand moving slowly to his cheek. He looked at Maya with such sadness that she almost regretted her action. Almost. I'm leaving, Maya said, turning toward the bedroom to get her suitcase. Wait, David's voice was urgent. Please, just wait one more minute. Let me show you something. Maya paused but did not turn around. There's nothing you can show me that will change what I saw. Please, David said softly. Just 1 minute. If you still want to leave after that, I won't stop you. The truth revealed. Maya turned around slowly. "1 minute," she said. "That's all you get." David pulled out his phone from his pocket. His hands were shaking as he unlocked it and scrolled through his photos. He held the screen toward Maya. "This is what I've been doing," he said quietly. Maya looked at the screen. It showed a photo of a house, a beautiful house with a garden in front and large windows. It looked peaceful and welcoming. She looked up at David, confused. "A house?" "Our house," David said. "Or at least I was hoping it would be. I've been looking at properties for the past month. I wanted to surprise you." Maya stared at him. "What?" David scrolled to another photo. This one showed the interior of the house, a spacious living room with wooden floors and plenty of natural light. "I know we've been talking about buying a house for years," David continued, his words coming faster now. "But we always said we'd wait until we had enough saved up. Well, I've been saving extra money from my night shifts, and last month I found out about a special loan program for medical professionals with really good rates." He scrolled to another photo, a kitchen with modern appliances. "I started looking at houses, but I didn't want to tell you until I found the perfect one. I wanted it to be a surprise, something wonderful to give you." Maya's mind was spinning. "But the woman, who is she?" "Her name is Kavya," David said. "She's a real estate agent. I hired her to help me find properties that matched what I thought you'd love. She's been showing me houses for the past 3 weeks." He scrolled again and showed Maya a screenshot of emails between him and Kavya, professional correspondence about house viewings, price negotiations, and loan applications. "Today was special," David said, his voice softening. "Today we finally found it. The perfect house. It has everything we talked about, a garden for you to grow herbs, a study where we can both work, good schools nearby for when we have children someday. It's perfect, Maya." Maya looked down at the photo on his phone. Her vision was blurry with tears. "When I hugged Kavya, it was because we'd just gotten confirmation that our offer was accepted," David explained. "I was so happy. I was planning to take you there tomorrow and surprise you. I had it all planned out." He lowered the phone and looked directly into Maya's eyes. "I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to make you doubt us. I was just trying to do something special for you, for us. Sometimes our attempts to create joy can inadvertently create pain. Have you ever tried to surprise someone and had it backfire? How did you handle it?" Maya's legs felt weak. She sank down onto the sofa, the divorce papers slipping from her hands and scattering across the floor. Tears poured down her face, but these were different tears now. Not tears of betrayal, but tears of relief mixed with guilt and confusion. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry I didn't trust you. I'm so sorry I jumped to conclusions." David sat down beside her, maintaining a respectful distance. "No, I'm the one who should apologize. I should never have lied about the conference. I should never have kept this secret. I thought I was being romantic, but I was just being foolish." He pulled out more documents from his bag, official papers showing the house purchase agreement, the loan approval, photographs of every room in the house. "I have proof of everything," he said quietly. "I can show you all our email conversations, all the appointment schedules, everything. I have nothing to hide." Maya looked through the documents with trembling hands. Every piece of evidence supported his story. The dates, the times, the communications, everything was there. "The reason I've been coming home late," David continued, "was because I was working extra shifts to save money faster. The phone calls you probably heard me taking in the other room were conversations with the bank about the loan and with Kavya about house viewings." Maya covered her face with her hands. "I feel like such a fool." "You're not a fool," David said gently. "You saw something that looked suspicious and you had every right to question it. I gave you reasons to doubt me by lying about where I was going. This is my fault, not yours." Maya looked up at him through her tears. "But I slapped you. I was ready to leave you without even giving you a chance to explain properly. What kind of wife does that make me?" "A human one," David said softly. "Maya, you were hurt. You thought I had betrayed you. Your reaction was completely understandable." They sat in silence for a few moments, the weight of what had almost happened settling over them. When David finally explained everything, I felt relief, but also regret. Not just for Maya, but for how close they came to losing everything. without a real conversation. Writing this part reminded me how silence and assumptions can be more dangerous than the truth itself. Finally, David spoke again. "I need to make you a promise," he said. "From this moment forward, no more surprises that involve lying. No more secrets, even well-intentioned ones. If I'm planning something for us, I'll tell you. We'll make decisions together, the way we should have been doing all along." Maya nodded, wiping her eyes. "And I need to promise something too. If I see something that worries me, I'll talk to you about it instead of jumping to the worst conclusion. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and the chance to explain before I make life-changing decisions." David reached out his hand slowly, giving Maya the choice to take it or not. She looked at his hand for a moment, then placed hers in his. "I love you," he said simply. "I loved you when I met you. I loved you when I married you, and I love you now. That has never changed, and it never will." "I love you too," Maya said, her voice thick with emotion. "I'm sorry I doubted that, even for a moment." They sat together on the sofa, hands joined as the evening light faded outside their window. The divorce papers lay scattered on the floor, forgotten and unnecessary. After a while, Maya asked, "Can I see more pictures of the house?" David's face lit up. He pulled out his phone again and spent the next hour showing her every detail. The spacious bedrooms, the modern bathroom, the backyard with its small mango tree, the neighborhood with its quiet streets and friendly community. "It's perfect," Maya said softly. "It's everything I dreamed of." "Then you'll come see it tomorrow?" David asked hopefully. "Yes," Maya smiled. "I'd love that." Communication is the bridge that connects two hearts. When that bridge is damaged, how do we rebuild it? What steps would you take to restore trust in a relationship? The next morning, Maya and David drove together to see the house. The drive took about 30 minutes, taking them away from the crowded city center into a quieter suburban area. When they turned onto the street, Maya's breath caught. The neighborhood was beautiful, lined with mature trees and well-maintained homes. Children played in front yards, neighbors waved to each other as they walked their dogs. "This is it," David said, pulling up in front of a cream-colored house with green trim. A sold sign stood proudly in the front yard. They got out of the car and walked up the front path together. David pulled out a key, the key Kavya had given him yesterday after the sale was finalized. "We can go inside?" Maya asked, surprised. "It's ours now," David said with a smile. "Well, it will be officially ours in 2 weeks after all the paperwork is completed, but Kavya gave us permission to visit any time." He unlocked the door and pushed it open. Maya stepped inside and looked around in wonder. The entrance opened into a bright living space with large windows that let in floods of natural light. The wooden floors gleamed, the walls were painted a soft, warm white. There was space for a dining table, space for comfortable sofas, space for their lives to unfold. Maya walked through each room slowly, taking it all in. The kitchen had granite countertops and plenty of storage. The main bedroom had an attached bathroom and a walk-in closet. The second bedroom could serve as a guest room or someday a nursery. But what captured Maya's heart was the backyard. She stepped out through the back door and found herself in a garden surrounded by flowering plants. The mango tree David had mentioned stood in one corner, its branches heavy with small green fruits. "You could plant your herb garden here," David said, coming to stand beside her. "Basil, mint, coriander, whatever you want. There's plenty of space." Maya turned to him with tears in her eyes, but these were happy tears now. "It's perfect," she whispered. "It's absolutely perfect." David wrapped his arms around her, and she leaned into his embrace. They stood there in their future garden, imagining the life they would build together in this place. What lessons can we take from Maya and David's story? How can we apply these principles in our own relationships? If you found value in this story, please share it with your friends and family. These moral lessons can help us all build stronger, more honest relationships. Thank you for reading, and may your own relationships be blessed with trust, communication, and enduring love.